The room became very quiet. Rebecca looked shocked. Marcus's face turned red. What is that supposed to mean? Marcus asked angrily. I stayed calm and looked at both of them. It means that you got your first 3 houses from your father, I said. It means Rebecca has never had to worry about not having enough money for food, rent, or bills. It means your son has many opportunities because your family has money. That does not make him bad. But it does not make him better than other children either. Nobody spoke. The only sound was the ticking clock on the wall. Rebecca shook her head. Are you saying my son doesn't deserve his success? She asked. No, I replied. I am saying that he had help. Lots of help. There is nothing wrong with getting help. But you should not act like other children are less valuable because they do not have the same advantages. Rebecca crossed her arms. You are twisting my words. No, I said quietly. I am repeating exactly what you said. I glanced at Isla. She was still sitting quietly, but she was no longer staring at her plate. She was listening carefully. For years, she had listened to comments that made her feel small. Tonight, I wanted her to hear something different. I wanted her to hear the truth. My mother sighed. Maybe we should change the subject, she said. I shook my head. No, we always change the subject. We always pretend everything is fine. And because of that, nothing ever changes. My father looked uncomfortable. He hated arguments. But I was tired of staying silent. I looked back at Rebecca. Do you know what Isla did last week? I asked. Rebecca shrugged. No. She created a new system at the library. Isla looked surprised that I brought it up. I smiled at her. She noticed that younger children were having trouble finding books they liked. So she organized the shelves in a better way. She grouped books by genre and theme. She made little notes to help children discover stories they might enjoy. My mother's eyes widened. Really? Isla nodded shyly. The head librarian loved the idea, I continued. She said it helped many children. That's nice, Rebecca said. But that isn't exactly a major achievement. I stared at her. Why not? Because it doesn't lead to a prestigious school. I laughed softly. There you go again. What? You think the only achievements that matter are the ones that sound impressive at parties. Rebecca's face turned red. That's not true. Then tell me why Isla's accomplishment doesn't count. Rebecca opened her mouth but did not answer. Because she had no answer. My mother looked at Isla. I think that's wonderful, she said warmly. Isla smiled a little. It was a small smile, but it meant a lot. For months, I had watched her confidence shrink every time we visited. Every dinner seemed to become a competition. Every conversation somehow turned into a discussion about money, schools, or status. And somehow, Isla always ended up feeling like she was losing. I was tired of it. Marcus cleared his throat. The world is competitive, he said. Kids need to learn that. They do, I agreed. He looked surprised. But they don't need to learn that they are worthless if they aren't rich. Nobody said anything. I continued. There are teachers who change lives every day. There are nurses who help sick people. There are firefighters who save families. There are librarians who help children discover a love for reading. Not one of those jobs makes someone less important. Isla looked at me carefully. I could tell she was remembering every word. Rebecca rolled her eyes. Nobody said those jobs aren't important. Maybe not directly, I replied. But you keep acting as if people who earn less money are somehow failures. I never said that. You said some children are only meant for minimum wage jobs. The room became silent again. Rebecca looked away. She knew she had said it. She knew everyone had heard it. My father rubbed his forehead. I think everyone is getting emotional. I looked at him. Dad, imagine being 13 years old and hearing someone say that. He looked toward Isla. For the first time all evening, he seemed to really notice her. Notice how quiet she had become. Notice how hurt she looked. Notice how carefully she had been trying to disappear. His expression softened. I didn't think about it that way, he admitted. Isla finally spoke. Her voice was very small. I like my job. Everyone turned toward her. She took a deep breath. I know it doesn't pay much, but I like helping people find books. Nobody interrupted, so she kept talking. When little kids come in looking for stories, I like helping them choose one. Sometimes they come back later and tell me they loved it. A smile slowly appeared on her face. And that makes me happy. I felt proud. Not because she was speaking, but because she was speaking without fear. Rebecca sighed. Happiness is important, but people need money. Of course they do, Isla said softly. Everyone looked surprised. Even Rebecca. But I don't think money is the only thing that matters. The room became quiet again. This time the silence felt different. It felt like people were actually listening. Isla sat up straighter. I want to study marine biology someday. My mother smiled. You still want to work with ocean animals? Isla nodded. More than anything. Her eyes brightened. She loved talking about the ocean. She could spend hours explaining coral reefs, dolphins, whales, and sea turtles. She had books about oceans stacked beside her bed. She watched documentaries whenever she could. It was her dream. Rebecca gave a small laugh. And what kind of salary does that career pay? The excitement disappeared from Isla's face. Before she could answer, I spoke. Why does that matter right now? Because reality matters. No, I said. Passion matters too. Then something surprising happened. Isla answered for herself. I don't know exactly how much money it pays, she said. But I know I love it. Nobody spoke. Isla continued. I want to help protect animals and oceans. I think that's important. My mother nodded proudly. I think that's a beautiful goal. So do I, my father said. Isla smiled. A real smile this time. The kind she used to have before family dinners became stressful. Rebecca looked around the table. She seemed confused. She was used to people agreeing with her. Tonight nobody was. Marcus shifted in his chair. Success still matters. Yes, I said. It does. He looked relieved. But then I continued. The problem is that everyone defines success differently. Marcus frowned. What does that mean? It means one person might feel successful because they earn a lot of money. Another person might feel successful because they help people. Another person might feel successful because they discover something new, create something beautiful, or make someone's life better. Nobody argued. Because deep down they knew it was true. I looked at Isla. Do you know what I think success is? She shook her head. I smiled. I think success is becoming the kind of person you can be proud of. Isla listened carefully. I continued. I think success is being kind when it would be easier to be mean. I think success is working hard. I think success is helping others. I think success is having the courage to follow your dreams. Tears appeared in Isla's eyes. But this time they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of relief. She finally felt seen. She finally felt understood. My mother reached over and gently squeezed Isla's hand. You are a wonderful young lady, she said. Isla smiled. Thank you. My father nodded. You work harder than most adults I know. Isla laughed quietly. The tension in her shoulders disappeared. For the first time all evening, she looked comfortable. Rebecca looked down at her plate. She did not seem to know what to say anymore. The conversation had moved beyond money and prestige. It had become about something much bigger. It had become about value. About kindness. About respect. About understanding that every person matters. No matter where they go to school. No matter how much money they earn. No matter what job they have. I looked around the table. The sweet potato casserole had gone cold. The turkey was barely touched. Dinner had completely fallen apart. But strangely, I did not care. For years, I had stayed quiet to keep the peace. For years, I had watched Isla doubt herself. For years, I had allowed comments to pass because I wanted to avoid conflict. Tonight was different. Tonight, Isla heard someone defend her. Tonight, she heard that her dreams mattered. Tonight, she learned that another person's opinion did not decide her worth. And that lesson was worth far more than a peaceful dinner. As everyone sat quietly, Isla looked at me and smiled. It was a small smile. But it was full of confidence. Full of hope. And in that moment, I knew that speaking up had been the right thing to do. No expensive school. No fancy title. No amount of money could ever be more important than helping a child believe in herself. And for the first time in years, I felt completely at peace. Marcus's face turned very red, and then it became even darker, like purple, because he was very angry. You are just jealous, he said loudly. I took a slow breath and answered him calmly. Maybe I am jealous, I said. Maybe I am jealous because my daughter has to work much harder, and still people give her less respect. Marcus crossed his arms and looked away. But that still does not make me wrong, I continued. You used the advantages you had in life. That is okay. If you have help, you should use it. But you should not pretend that your success came from nothing. Money and support helped build the path your son is walking on. The room became very quiet. My father suddenly stood up from his chair. That is enough. Both of you, he said in a strict voice. But I was not finished yet. It is not enough, Dad, I said. It has never been enough. Every time I stayed quiet just to keep peace in this family, Isla learned that her feelings did not matter as much as everyone else's comfort. Everyone looked at me. Then I turned toward my sister, Rebecca. You want to talk about what children deserve? I said. Isla goes to the animal shelter every Sunday to help animals. She teaches little kids math for free. She even saved half the money she earned from her library job to buy Christmas gifts for all of us. So tell me, what has she done that makes you think she is less important? Rebecca opened her mouth, but no words came out. I didn't mean, she started. Yes, you did. I said gently but firmly. You mean it every time you talk badly about people who work simple jobs. Every time you look down on people who clean tables or work in shops. Every time you act like some jobs are not good enough. I don't think I'm better than others, she said quietly. But I shook my head. Your whole life shows it, I said. Your big house, your expensive car, your son's private school. You act like those things make you better than others. Maybe that would be sad only for you if you kept it inside. But you don't. You say things that hurt other people. Now my mother was crying softly. My father looked tired, like he had aged many years in just one night. Then Isla finally spoke. Her voice was soft, but it was strong too. I like my job. Everyone turned to look at her. I like working at the library, she said slowly. I like putting books in the right places. I like helping people find the books they need. She sat up a little straighter. Ms. Carter says I am very good at organizing things. She even said I might become a librarian one day. Rebecca tried to speak softly. Isla, honey. But Isla raised her hand a little. I am not finished, she said. I felt so proud of her at that moment. You think a low-paying job means it is not important, Isla continued. But the librarians say their work is very important. Books don't organize themselves. People need help to find knowledge. That is important work. Then she looked right at Rebecca. You have never asked me about my job. You never asked me what I do or why I like it. You just decided it is not good enough because it doesn't pay a lot or sound fancy. The room became so quiet that it felt heavy. Rebecca slowly sank back into her chair. I didn't realize, she said softly. I wasn't trying to hurt you. You weren't trying to hurt her, I said. But you were not thinking about her at all. You were too busy thinking you were better than others, and you did not see that you were hurting a child who only wanted your love and respect. My mother wiped her tears. Rebecca, she said quietly, you need to apologize properly. I'm sorry, Rebecca said quickly. But my mother shook her head. Not to me, she said. To Isla. Rebecca turned toward Isla again. This time her eyes looked different. She looked ashamed. Isla, she said softly. I am sorry. I was wrong. I should have asked about your life. I should have cared more. Isla nodded a little, but she did not say anything. My father sighed deeply. I think Thanksgiving is over, he said. I stood up. Good, I said. May I get your coat? I asked Isla. As we walked toward the door, my mother touched my arm gently. You didn't have to be so harsh, she said. I looked at her. Yes, I did, I said. For 3 years, I tried being gentle. And for 3 years, Isla learned that staying quiet is more important than her feelings. My mother said, family is important. I nodded. Yes, I said. But so is my daughter. And if I ever have to choose between the two, I will choose my daughter every single time. We left the house and got into the car. Inside the car, it was quiet for a long time. Isla looked out the window thinking. After a while she spoke. Thanks, Mom. I looked at her. You never have to thank me for protecting you, I said. I know, she replied softly. But I still want to. On the way home, we stopped at a small diner. It was not fancy at all. The seats were old, and some of them were cracked. The lights were warm but a little dim. The coffee smelled like it had been sitting for a while. A waitress came to our table. She looked about 60 years old. She had tired eyes, but she moved quickly and carefully, like she had done this job for many years. Isla watched her quietly as she poured water and cleaned the table. She is really good at her job, Isla said softly. Yes, she is, I answered. Isla looked thoughtful. Aunt Rebecca would probably say she should have done something better with her life, she said. I shook my head slowly. Aunt Rebecca does not know her story, I said. She does not know if that woman is working hard to take care of her family. She does not know if the woman loves her job and feels proud of it. She does not know if the diner belongs to her or if she simply enjoys helping people. All she sees is a uniform and money in her mind. Isla nodded slowly. I don't want to be like that, she said. You are not like that at all, I told her. You are kind, and you see people for who they are. We ordered pumpkin pie because after such a hard day, we needed something sweet. When the waitress brought it, she smiled warmly. Isla smiled back and said, Thank you. The waitress looked happy, like that simple kindness made her day better. My phone kept buzzing again and again. It was messages from my mother, my father, and even Marcus. But I did not open them. I already knew what mattered most. The person sitting across from me mattered more than all those messages. We ate pie quietly, and slowly Isla looked more relaxed again. The world outside felt calmer. Tomorrow we could deal with family problems again. But tonight was peaceful. As we drove home later, Isla spoke again. Mom. Yes, sweetheart. I still want to work at the library when I grow up. I smiled. That is wonderful, I said. You should always do work that makes you happy, no matter what other people think. Isla smiled softly. It was the first real, bright smile I had seen from her all day. That moment felt very special. Sometimes in life, you have to protect the people you love, even if it causes problems with others. My sister could keep her pride and her judgment. I would keep my daughter's happiness and self-respect safe. And that was more important than anything else. Late at night, I received a message from Rebecca. It said, We need to talk. I looked at it for a moment. Then I deleted it. Some talks are not needed right away. Some people need time to understand their mistakes. And sometimes peace means knowing when to walk away. Isla was already asleep when we got home. Her library badge was still attached to her jacket. It was a small badge, but she wore it proudly, like it was something very special. She only earned a small amount of money, but she had something much bigger. She had kindness, pride in her work, and a strong heart. And that made her truly valuable.
अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ मैं। ये जो दिन सहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं। तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा बेसर्द लगता है। दिल का हर एक कोना अब बहुत ही दूर भरता है। अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ मैं। ये जो दिन सुहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं। तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा सर्द लगता है। दिल का हर एक कोना बहुत ही दर्द भरता है। मेरे साए भी मुझसे अब जुदा होने को कहते हैं। तुझे खोने की राहों में ये आंसू बहने लगते हैं। कहाँ जाऊं कहाँ ढूंढूं मेरा वो साजो सामा तो मेरी हर एक तमन्ना तू मेरी रूह का मका तू। लकीरों में नहीं लिखा जो तुमने ख्वाब देखा था। वफा की इस कहानी में फकत एक गम ही लिखा था। सितारों से भी पूछता है पता तेरा कहाँ होगा, मगर खामोश है दुनिया कहाँ मेरा जहाँ होगा। बस एक बार मुड़ के देख ले मेरी बेबसी की सूरत। मुझे है आज भी तेरी वफा की सख्त जरूरत। साए मेरे तन्हा सफर बस रह गया दर्द का असर। साए मेरे तन्हा सफर बस रह गया दर्द का असर, दर्द का असर।